Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Jets Radio. This is one of your hosts, Tyson Roush. We have a jam-packed show for you. This team is never a dull moment. If you want to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Talk Jets Radio, we're on YouTube, Let's Talk Jets Radio. We want to thank everybody that's listening and tuning in and giving us feedback and everything else. We truly, truly appreciate it. What we're going to do here is the first half hour will be me and Primetime, me and Tyrone talking some stuff. 8:30 we go to calls. So if you're on hold right now, we're going to go to calls around 8:30. So let me bring on the man, Mr. Primetime. What is up, Kev?
Ty, we are going to have a show tonight. I am legit fired up for this one. No notes, no nothing. I want to get into this Jamal Adams stuff. I'm fired up, man.
I mean, well, just start off. It was like I blew up. I blew up last week. I blew up Thursday. If you follow our Twitter account, I mean, I've just been out of my mind, dude. Like I just can't take it anymore. But what is your take? You actually wrote an article for NYSF magazine. What is your take on this?
I mean, dude, there are so many different angles to approach this. And the thing that I keep saying, as everybody is turning on Jamal Adams, and we can get into that later. I mean, there's plenty to go into about how Jamal Adams is at fault for what's going on right now. But the key thing that I keep going back to is what drove Jamal Adams to this point. Because last year at this exact moment, what was he doing? He was on social media, all about the Jets, recruiting C.J. Mosley and Le'Veon Bell. He was all about the Jet life. So in 1 year, what the hell has happened that has taken him completely the other way? And I don't want to hear that it's all Jamal Adams and he's just this diva. All right, we can get into everything he's done wrong, which again has been a terrible look on him. He's lost fan support. He's lost media support. But I can't say that he shouldn't be doing this or he should be doing it a different way. But to say that he owes the Jets something, that he has to stay here and play on his rookie contract because, the Jets drafted him and he has to honor his contract, that's not the way the NFL works anymore. You know, the Jets need to prove themselves as a destination that star players would want to come play for, period. And until they do that, these situations like Jamal, like Keyshawn and Abraham and Revis, the list is going to keep going on. So until you become a marketable place for players to come play, you have nobody to blame but yourself when these situations continue to happen, especially when you fail to communicate before the draft to get an idea of whether his heart was truly in New York and he wanted to stay here.
Dude, that's my biggest question going into all this. And listen, I'm not a Gase guy. I've questioned Jets ownership. I've questioned the general manager. I've questioned everything. But my honest question is this. Did the New York Jets sit down with Jamal Adams in April and say, listen, what do you want? Do you want out? Do you not want to be here anymore? Are you and Gase not getting along? Is this not the fit for you? Is this not where you want to be? Because if the answer is you want out, then the draft you make it happen during the draft. If they have conversations and they portray the weird thing is the Jets portray that they want to talk contract. They said before the draft, before the draft they're like, after the draft we want to talk contract. Then it was, well, we have the second week of free agency, then we'll talk contract. And now here we are. And according to every beat writer, the Jets they've made no offers, they've made no proposals, they haven't done anything. So now their built-in excuse is, well, listen, we have a pandemic here, and no team in the NFL is making a contract offer because we don't know what the salary cap is next year. Our fans will be in the stands. But then, Kevin, my point is this: if that's the case, then Joe Douglas calls Jamal Adams and say, hey, listen, man, we want to talk contract, but unfortunately, we have no idea what we're getting ourselves into in terms of finances. Can we revisit this in September? Because we don't know what we're up against. You have a reasonable conversation. If they have that conversation and then Jamal Adams says, F off, I want out, but we don't know what the line of communication is. And that's the first thing. The second thing is your question is what changed? What changed is Adam Gase, dude. And people want to say I'm a Gase hater, and I really don't care. The common denominator is he loved being here, new coach, problem started. Now, if you look at history of Miami, what happened in Miami? There were problems with players, with big personalities. What do you think?
I mean, dude, you're absolutely right. These are the same exact things. Not just that, but I mean, the injuries, everything else. It's been a pattern of things that have followed him. So yeah, it wouldn't put it past. I don't think it's all about Adam Gase. I think it is much deeper than that. But I think Adam Gase is definitely a part of it in terms of Jamal wanting to be a part of a winning franchise, him not believing in Adam Gase. But if it was just Adam Gase, I think he'd be willing to wait it out for another year, maybe 2 years. But I think it's much deeper than that. I think it's a combination of Gase, of ownership, of, just not in general enjoying being a New York Jet and going to work every day. I think that there's a lot that's gone into this that has kind of just stripped away a lot of the passion that we saw in those first 2 years and just made this a place that he no longer wants to play anymore. And you mentioned the miscommunication. Like, that was the whole point, at least for me, why I wanted them to sign him right away, in addition to obviously locking up your best player long-term, which you should do for a team that doesn't have talent. Like, you find out whether or not he really wants to be a Jet. You find out in his heart, does he want to be here, or is he just setting a ridiculous number to facilitate a trade or, to make you trade him, to prove that he doesn't want to be a Jet? Find that out before the draft. The fact that we've gotten to this point after they said we want to make him a Jet for life, we'll talk contract after the draft. The fact that we're at this point now, late June, why? Like, is Joe Douglas just trying to, flex his muscle here to, show that he has power over a player? Like, I don't know what the end result or the end goal is here by doing this, because nobody wins. I keep saying it. Like, the biggest losers in this, it's the fans. We lose. The Jets don't win by this, by getting rid of Jamal. I don't understand what the point of doing this is. If you're trying to improve as a team and get better, you keep your top players, or at least you communicate with them and you try to make them want to stay with you. You try to stay on the same page. The fact that it's escalated to this, it's a bad look on everybody.
Dude, I agree. And the X factor in all this is too, I have questions about Gase. Douglas, like you said, is trying to get rid of the stink of McHagnon, where there was contract issues in the past and the Jets were always used for leverage and the Jets were getting played. So he took a hard line with that. And then it's where does ownership come in with this? Is ownership saying, hey, listen, we're not paying them, we're not doing this? There's so many unknowns. And the reason why I'm so negative is because history has made me this way. The Jets ownership have made millions of mistakes. This is Joe Douglas's first year. He has a lot to prove. He hasn't proved nothing as a general manager yet. Not because he's it's one draft, in a free agency class. He's got so much to prove. And Gase's bad track history. So you don't know all that. And then you have Jamal, who's and let me make this clear. He's handling this terribly, but something has brought him to this point where he's you know what, I'm done. And people say, well, it can't be the coach because he's good with Greg Williams. Yeah, but Adam Gase is still the head coach of the team. Furthermore, the other X factor is Jamal Adams was close at Le'Veon Bell. So he could be, listen, him and Le'Veon Bell could be talking listen, this is a disaster. This team is a mess. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of that. Yes, he plays defense, but he's also good friends with the rest of the guys on offense too. Him and Le'Veon Bell were tight, and we all know that if Gase is here next year, Bell's going to be out. So there's so many things going on, but something changed, Kevin. And people want to say it was a trade deadline last year because of the rumors got out about going to the Cowboys. I think that got squashed. He had the bad game. He came back. They had a talk with Joe Douglas. Everything seemed fine. But then in the offseason, things happened again. It's something is triggering it. And it can't be just Jamal. Jamal wants out for a reason. And this is a player that loved being here. He loved every facet of New York. He embraced it, and something changed. And to me, the change was the coach. What else changed?
Dude, I really don't know, unless some of the tweets from Cromartie about things that are going on behind the scenes that we don't know. If something took place, a conversation, or some kind of action, with ownership, Joe Douglas. Who really knows what could have actually triggered it? But it's clear at this point he does not want to be here. And again, that was the idea of, at least for me, why I wanted to sign him to an extension right away, because you can find out whether or not he truly actually wants to be here, or if he's just going to set a price to try and get pushed out the door. I feel that would have been apparent early on, so you can kind of get ahead of this thing, not be blindsided, and now, look forward to training camp where you don't know if you're going to have your best player there. You don't know if he's going to show up and half-ass it. You don't know if he's going to hold out and, just kind of call your bluff. Who knows what direction this is going to go in? But you touched on something also with, him being a friend of Le'Veon Bell. Obviously, him and Marcus Maye are tight. I'm very curious to see or to hear what the rest of the locker room thinks about this, because the rest of the locker room is in agreement with Jamal. How is he the bad guy? If they all want to get out, if they all feel exactly what he's feeling and they're just kind of keeping quiet about it and they just can't wait to get out, to me that's very telling. As opposed to everybody in that locker room being against Jamal, thinking that he's handling it the wrong way, he's selfish, he's a diva. I don't think anybody would speak on that, and if we do, I think that would be interesting also. So I'm very curious to hear just what the vibe is like in that locker room, and if guys aren't pissed at Jamal, I think that speaks louder to, yes, this is probably an Adam Gase or ownership issue where guys just want to get the hell out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's weird because, you get guys like Jordan Jacobs and Brian Poole that both came back, but they play defense. So it's like, all right, you got guys from last year that came back, crazy cheap deals. So is it, like, we don't really know what the thing is. Like, Cromartie handled a lot of things, and, it's just weird, man. Like something. And then you remember Ed Reed. Remember when Ed Reed was there last year at the Jets facility, and he had that cryptic tweet about the Jets, and it was kind of like, oh, he's taking a shot at somebody. Remember that?
Yep.
And Ed Reed's close to Jamal. So there's a lot of foreshadowing of things to go here, and he's handling it terribly. And you've made a great point too, where like nobody, like the fans don't win here, and the Jets don't win here. The only one that's going to potentially win is Jamal Adams if he goes to a team that he wants to be on, and that's it. Because Kevin, unless you get like, if I'm the Jets, I drag this out of the training camp. I drag this out and make it as miserable as possible, and try to get some kind of deal. Because right now your problem is you're like, the Jets have all the leverage with Jamal. But in terms of a trade, other teams know you have a pain in the ass, and like they know you want. Like it's a terrible situation. Well, this is similar to Beckham Jr. with the Giants. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing where I feel like they have to drag it out now because Jamal Adams has taken this approach. You can't let him embarrass. You can't just be embarrassed like that. You can't let him win this and just, all right, we're going to trade him to Dallas and whatever they give us, we'll take. You almost have to kind of fight back and either let him sit out. Or I don't know what the other option would be. I mean, I feel like they can't just let him bully them around like that, even though I agree with, I guess, why he wants out. But for Joe Douglas in his first offseason or like his first full offseason, I think it would be a terrible look if, he just kind of lets Jamal get the upper hand here.
Dude, look at it. We're watching. The media's watching. The locker room's watching. Players around the league are watching because Jamal's a respected guy in this locker room. He's one of the best players in football. So everybody's going to watch. How are the Jets going to handle the situation? And you have all these things. Then the other thing, too, is where the Jets have no leverage in terms of, Jamal has no leverage in terms of his contract with the Jets. The Jets can say, you got to report, and he can say, I'm not or I am. But where he can play games is if the Jets say, hey, you know what? We just traded you to the Bengals. And he's going to be like, well, that's cool. I'm not signing a new contract there. So whatever they're giving up, they're going to give up for 2 years, and I'm not going to sign here. So, so he can be a pain in the ass in the trade market too, dude, because he's like, listen, I'm not going to, like, you can trade for me. I will not sign a new contract there. So you're going to be stuck with me with the same problem in 2 years.
Exactly. And that is why he can, to an extent, dictate where he wants to go. Because what organization is going to give up a first-round pick for a guy that doesn't want to play there? Nobody.
Yep.
Nobody is going to give up a first-round draft pick for Jamal Adams if he says, I do not want to play with you, or I will not sign an extension with you. It's not going to happen. Nobody's taking that kind of chance. So the Jets are limited in terms of the trade market and where they can deal him. Absolutely.
Yep. So now you have this situation is it's terrible. It's just bad. Like he's handling it terribly. He's making it worse with his acting like he's not even here anymore to the point where it's like I personally think it's irreparable. Like there's no way he can come back now because I don't know. Like what do the Jets do? You let him embarrass you for 2 months. Just mock everything about your organization, say goodbye, say farewell to Marcus Maye, and then reward him with a $16 million a year contract? Is that what you do? Like, is that the way to handle this? Like, you reward a player for being a pain in the ass and acting out like a child? That's not a good look for Joe Douglas, right? Like I don't even know how to repair this. Like we get to ask this question all day long on Twitter, dude. I'm like, I think it's over. Like, I don't know how you bring him back because like all this shit that happened, and then you say, okay, you know what? Here's a new contract. Go to the locker room and act like you love it here. Is anybody going to believe him? Because right now he seems like a fraud.
And that's the problem. I mean, you almost can't give him that kind of contract now, knowing his true intentions, that he would rather play somewhere else under the same contract. Like, you know what? And the thing is, the weirdest thing to me, like this where, and listen, I guess I'm criticizing everybody, and I guess I'm that guy. So if you want to call and rip me to shreds, I really don't care at this point. I don't really give a shit. But what I would have really appreciated is if Joe Douglas behind the scenes, when this first came out, if Joe Douglas behind the scenes flew to Dallas and said, you know what, we're going to iron this shit out right now because this is not good for anybody. You're acting like an idiot, which is ruining any leverage we have in trying to trade you because you're just making a mockery of this, or you're just ruining your chance of ever staying as a New York Jet. So let's squash this tonight. Meet at some friggin' diner in Dallas, wherever you want to go, and just talk it out then and squash it. Say, okay, listen, we are now on firm ground. We know you're serious about leaving or whatever it is, and be done with it.
So I would have respected Joe Douglas a lot more if that actually happened than their absolute silence and slowly but surely leaking their stuff to the media. So now they're going to play their own media game with Jamal until August. That would, I think, would have been the best way to handle this, because now it's just what's going to happen. He's going to do the same thing, tweet after tweet, day after day, and it's just going to get uglier, man. And nothing productive is going to come out of this.
And dude, I never pat myself on the back, but you too. I mean, this channel every week for how long have we predicted exactly how this entire scenario was going to unfold? Yep. So, I mean, the fact that average fans can kind of see where this was headed, how didn't Douglas and all the higher-ups in this organization, how did they not have an idea of where this was going? It was so obvious by the trade deadline last year that if they weren't going to discuss a contract or even work one out with Jamal, there were going to be issues heading into this offseason. And it almost seemed like, Gase or if it was Douglas, who knows, they just had this arrogant, oh, well, who cares? He's going to have to show up. He's under contract. And I'm sorry, but when you're a bad team that lacks talent, you can't afford to treat your very few good players that way. I understand, and I'll keep saying it, how poorly Jamal Adams has handled this. But, again, what got him here? Because he wasn't like this his first 2 years. And I just think everything with this organization that has gone wrong has pushed him in that direction. So I don't even know what else to say about it.
No, and that's the whole thing. And the one thing we learned about Jamal is he loved being here for the first 2 years, but he was in it, but like he worried about his image, dude. Like he worried how he was portrayed on every aspect of social media. He wanted to be portrayed as a leader, a team guy, embraced it, all this stuff. That was his thing. And now he's to the point where he's like, I don't care what I look like in my media. I really don't care. I want out of Dodge. And he's acting terrible. Like there's no way to justify anything he's doing. I think it's just embarrassing. It's like you think at some point an agent or somebody's like, dude, you're making things worse. Like the trade market, you're actually making worse. You're being counterproductive with how you're handling yourself. And teams that, a team that's acquiring him, like it's very similar to Beckham, dude. It's a lot of very similar to Beckham. Must be an LSU thing or something. But it's like, all right, how do you handle this? Because now you put himself in a spot where only certain teams are going to want him, and the Jets are in a spot where even if they want to bring him back, how do they justify giving a contract after he's been spitting on them for 2 weeks? Like it's like I don't even know. I just wish ownership and Joe Douglas talked to him already.
I'm just curious if there's a reason why he's trying to drag the Jets. Kind of like, we were just talking, like, what's the real reason he wants out? Like, what actually transpired that pushed him to this point? Well, I kind of feel the same way about that, Yeah,
I mean, listen, the aftermath of all this is going to trickle down throughout the locker room, and like you said, and I'll keep saying it, and we both predicted this. We just said, listen, this is going to be a disaster. This is very similar to Revis, but Jamal is a lot more outspoken and he's just into it now. But if he sits down to the Jets and says, listen, in April or March or whenever it is, say, listen, man, I want $17 million a year. I want this. I want that. These are all things I want by this year. If not, I'm going to be a complete pain in the ass and I'm going to want out. If he tells the Jets that and they say, okay, listen, we're going to give you all these things. Don't worry about it. We'll get it done. If they do that, if they promise him that stuff then, Kevin, then you got to follow through with it. And I understand the pandemic. So then you say, listen, we did promise you this in April. We can't do it now because we don't know what our salary cap is going to be. But we promise you we will talk to you in late September once we know what's going on with fans in the stands or if we even have a season at all. Like, be reasonable about it because no other team's spending money either. If you do that, it makes sense.
But that's the conversation that should have already happened. Doing it now, I don't think it does anything. All the bridges have been burned already.
Everything's burned. Yeah, everything's burned to the ground now. And
exactly,
it's just what it pisses me off the most. Like I'm just pissed. Like I'm so disgusted. Like you want to enjoy something. Like I was looking forward to the season. I thought he'd be a contract to be done. He's a building block. All this stuff, and now this is scorched earth. And you're like, all right. Say they do come up with a package with the Cowboys. If it doesn't include a player that actually is on the field this season for 2020, it's a disaster. It's the same thing with Robbie Anderson, man. Like if you didn't trade Robbie Anderson, right? But right, if you trade him after the draft, like this is the same stuff we'd rip McCagnon for. But like, listen, you're trading a guy after the draft. If you don't get a guy that can contribute this year in 2020, what are you doing? Like this just doesn't make any sense to me.
But dude, even with the Cowboys. What if you trade for the first and the third that you got offered, at the deadline last year, but then they go on to win the Super Bowl or make the playoffs and have a deep run? Now all of a sudden, instead of picking 17th and getting CD Lamb, you're mid to late 20s possibly. So how does that work?
Yep. It's crazy, man. I never thought we would get here. Like I'm shocked it got to the point where he's been this like just saying goodbye on Twitter and stuff. I knew it was gonna get ugly. I didn't think it'd be this ugly this fast. And then the Marcus Maye thing is fascinating to me, and I'll tell you why. Because it's funny. As fans, we all assume Jamal's gonna get his deal. They draft Ashton Davis. Marcus Maye is the odd man out. And, I was trying to find ways to say, hey, can you sign both of them? Everybody's like, no, you don't want too much money. And then people are like, oh, he's too injury prone. He's too that. Marcus has got to go. We got to replace. Like, everybody assumed we got Marcus Maye's replacement. And now it's like, everybody's like, yo, man, like, give Marcus Maye the money. Jamal Adams is out. And, dude, I get why he tweeted what he tweeted. Like, I get it, man. Because you know what? If you're a player sitting back watching, it's like, damn, these fans said they love me. Now they're all like, yeah, they're good. We got my replacement already. I got another year left. Like, coming off a good year last year. Like, damn, life happens fast in New York. And it was, and I mean, again, I heard you said this again.
Well, not just the fans, but correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not positive on this, but I'm 99% sure. Wasn't Marcus Maye one of the first guys that Adam Gase wanted to trade when he took the job?
Yep.
I'm pretty certain that there were a bunch of rumors that they were looking to trade Maye, and this was like right around as soon as Gase took over. It might have even been during that interim period where he kind of was the GM after McCagnon was gone, or at least into training camp, like the talks were going on. So, yeah, I mean, if I'm Marcus Maye, why am I signing with the Jets? Same as Jamal. I mean, he's obviously not going to be as vocal about it. That's not really his style, I don't think. But after this year, why am I signing with the Jets? Unless they blow me away with a contract offer or, Adam Gase is gone. If that's part of the issue, who knows? But why am I signing with the Jets? What's the appeal? What's their pitch to keep me?
Yeah, I mean, and especially when everybody pretty much universally said they drafted his replacement, and that's what everybody said. We said it, everybody said it, and I was shocked. I'm like, wow, safety. Why do you have Marcus Maye? Like, and then he's going to be gone because he's going to pair it with Jamal, and we all kind of wrote him off. We had some conversations like, hey, can you afford to keep both? Everybody's like, no, he's going to want too much money. Then some people started like, oh, he's hurt too much. Well, I thought he played well last year. And now it's like, dude, he stuck up for himself. And I don't have a problem with it, man. It's like, you know what? Jets Twitter, we're all part of it. I'm guilty of it, where we all just go off. And the players watch it now. And this NFL, certain players will speak up and speak out. And that's what social media is for, man. Jamal's done it. Marcus Maye done it. Plenty of other players. Tyrann Mathieu does it. They all speak up. And listen, good for him because I have no problem with it.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's a different game now, and it's a different player. It's a different type of athlete that you're dealing with. These guys no longer have to, just play on the minimum amount for, 4 or 5 years and keep quiet. Like, guys are going to speak up about things. Social media age, it's a different ball game now. Guys can force their way out. Antonio Brown, Jalen Ramsey, like, that's the new playbook. And Jamal Adams, clearly, he is not happy. So why wouldn't he execute that playbook? I mean, I hate to continue to go into it, but like everything that he has been through in 3 years has driven him to this point. As childish as he's been acting, as wrong as he is for the manner in which he's handling it, and saying he's trying to get to the Cowboys and liking all these ridiculous pictures, like he's doing everything in his power to make sure that he never has to put on a Jet uniform again. And that should be more about self-awareness for the Jets and realizing why a player that once loved this organization for 2 years now feels that way. That should be a look in the mirror at what the hell are we doing wrong.
Yeah, and like you're right. The blueprint he's following was the same thing Jalen Ramsey did, the same thing Beckham did. This is just a way of getting your way out of town as fast as possible, and that's what they're doing. And the other thing about Marcus Maye is he's got to be pissed too because like he's in a contract year, and he could be losing his running mate. Like you take away Jamal Adams out of secondary, and Marcus Maye's playing for a contract. Like like now he's like that impacts his paycheck too, man. Because now he's gonna be asked to probably do a whole different set of things now in this defense if Jamal's gone. So the trickle down is enormous, and I hate the way Jamal's handling this. Like, he was one of my favorite. Like, we all loved him, dude. Like, the thing about Jamal is he was like Rex Ryan, dude. When our team was kind of in some doldrums, Rex Ryan came in with his fire and brimstone, got us all fired up, and he gave us some swagger. As fans, he gave us some swagger, something to believe in. Like, all right, we're going to turn this shit around a little bit. Like, we're going to get this right. And Jamal kind of gave us that. He kind of gave us that energy. Like, Todd Bowles was kind of like, kind of lax days ago. We really, he kind of gave us some energy, regardless of Gase. But Jamal had that. A guy that you believe in. Like, you believed in Sam on offense, you believed in Jamal on defense. He gave you that swagger and that belief, and we all bought into it. And now he just spit in our face, like just completely disregarding it, like no hard feelings. I'm like, dude, fuck you, no hard feelings. Like, are you serious? Like, dude, we all bought into you. Like, Like, it's just crazy.
You and a lot of other fans, though, are taking it as a personal insult. Like, I'm pissed at Jamal, but I'm pissed at him as a fan. I don't take what he's doing at all personally because he doesn't want to be a Jet anymore. I understand. Like, as a Jet fan, I'm locked in. Like, I can't, switch teams. To me, that's fake. You don't do that. But as a player, he has no allegiance to the Jets at all. He was drafted by them, but he wasn't a fan of the team. He played for LSU, grew up in Texas. Like, he has no allegiance to the Jets at all. So for 3 years in a row, he's miserable. Why is he staying? He has no reason at all to want to do anything for the Jets or for the fans. Yes, we have supported him like crazy. And so I feel like we do deserve a little bit better. But at the same time, like, being nice to the fans but, mean to the organization, is that going to get him anywhere? He'll give his nice farewell on the way out, and that's going to be it. Like, he doesn't owe us anything. Like, it sounds messed up to say, but that's just the reality. He does not owe anybody anything.
Well, I mean, in theory, he owes us to be professional, act like, not act like a buffoon and like a complete clown on social media like this. I mean, this is just ridiculous, dude. Like, he's taken it to a whole nother level, just ridiculous. But like, as fans, like, I'm insulted because it's just like I'm not really insulted. I'm just like, I'm angry about it. Like, I just, there's so many unknowns, and I kind of think I know what's going to happen. Like, I think I know what happened behind the scenes, but I don't want to say anything. So it's like, I'm just frustrated because at the end of the day, Kevin, we want to win. And to me, he's a piece of puzzle that's going to help us get there faster. Like, this team is not better without him. And replacing him is not going to be so easy. Like, I'm tired of hearing how he's just a box safety, all that. He's much more than that. He's one of the best defensive players in football. And I know losing him is a step back. Yes, you may get 2 draft picks. Those 2 draft picks have both got to hit, and one's got to be a Pro Bowler. Is that going to happen? No guarantees. We've learned that lesson already. So to me, I'm frustrated because I'm like, all right, this is going to be a step back. What is the aftermath of that? Does that impact other players from wanting to come here? Because really, we didn't really sign any impact players this year. Like, all the guys we signed are on 1-year deals, low risk, high reward guys. We didn't get any monumental high name players. Don't give me Frank Gore. He's not a star anymore. So how does this impact us next year in a free agency where we're going to have hopefully a lot of money and still a ton of needs? Are we going to have the abilities to sign players, or is this going to linger? Like, listen, man, they drafted this guy. He earned a new contract. They played games with him. They don't want to keep their players. They're not going to win anytime soon. I'm not going there. And that's what frustrates me, man. I'm like, you see him as a piece of the puzzle. Another puzzle is going, that part's going away, and it's driving me crazy because we're going backwards now.
What's going to frustrate you even more is after, against a tough schedule, we find a way to actually put up some points on offense, win 7 or 8 games, but we only win 7 or 8 games because, the defense is now giving up points, and we don't have Jamal back there to, kind of keep that unit intact. So it's always going to be something, That's always what it's been. When we had Revis, we didn't care about corners, got rid of him. We desperately needed corners. Before the draft with Adams in May, we didn't have any safeties. We got 2 of them. Now we don't care. Safety's not a premium position. It's always going to be something. It's always going to be something that we don't have that we need. And when we have it, we're not going to appreciate it, and it'll be gone in 2 or 3 years. That's how the Jets are.
And the thing is, the weirdest thing is, it's like, and I understand that Joe Douglas didn't draft Jamal Adams, but if you have a mantra of the type of player you want on this team, like if you look at Joe Douglas's blueprint of the type of players he wants, explosive, versatile, dynamic, team first, hardworking, leader, all the things he wants, like his play like a Jet guy, is Jamal Adams. Like he is the work ethic. He's the heart and soul. He's the heartbeat of the defense. Like that's the guy. Like you drafted him. He's in your facility. Every year he's gotten better. He's an all-pro player. Everything by the books he's done. I mean, so he's a pain in the ass social media sometimes. Who gives a shit? I don't care about that. Social media doesn't win football games. On the field does. Yeah. So he's done it all. So if you have the blueprint of what it takes to sign a new player, or how you earn a new contract, he's done it. So we can't argue about that. Now it's a matter of timing, and it's falling apart, and it's communication, or it's like something's amiss, and we all can blame Jamal all we want. We've said it over and over. He's handled it terribly. It's embarrassing. I hate it. I can't stand it. Complete turnoff. But I think there's more to it. I think there's another side of the story that, Cromartie kind of leaked to it, and people are saying that Cromartie's just defending his buddy, but Cromartie also was one of Jets' coaches. Cromartie sees it. Ed Reed had that tweet last year. He had that cryptic tweet last year. And the other thing is, Kevin, and I don't care if the Gase supporters like it or not, the fact is the same shit happened in Miami. When you have a strong personality or things like that, it clashes with Gase. It doesn't matter if you're on offense or defense. You're in the same goddamn locker room. And then he's, like I said, he's close to Bell. So there's all these moving parts here where we could all bash Adams, but I think there's other responsibilities to pass blame within Jets management and the team.
Yeah, like I keep saying, I'm mad at Jamal Adams as a fan, but as a person, as a business person, like I understand exactly where he's coming from, and my perception of him, the player, it hasn't changed. He's still the kind of player on and even off the field, like in spite of how he's handling this, because I know it's just about the Jets, he's still the type of player that I would pay, that I would have paid before the draft. Absolutely. That's the kind of guy that you want in your locker room that helps you win games. He is an impact player. I don't care what position he plays. So, again, to me, this is more just a reflection on the Jets and, whatever else went on behind the scenes that we don't know that pushed Jamal to this point. And wherever he goes, I don't think you're going to see the same type of issues that we've seen over the last few months happen wherever he goes. I think a fresh start is what he needs now. I think it's clear that, the passion that we saw that he had for football in those first 2 years, it hasn't been there. There's something that changed that we all noticed it on social media and, with the way he was dealing with the media, a lot of things started to change over the last pretty much year. So at this point, yeah.
No, the other thing, too, and you mentioned this earlier, too, and something I've been thinking about this. I try to, we have nothing but time in our hands these days, so I try to think about every aspect of this. And it's like, all right, what changed? And then you mentioned it, too. It's like his last year, he was recruiting Mosley, he was recruiting Bell. So now this year, the Jets may say, listen, man, pipe down, don't recruit players. We're going to sign the guys we want. We don't need you mouthing off. Okay, he didn't do it. Interesting. But then, like you said, as a business decision or as a player, you may say, listen, I'm now eligible for a contract. When they sit down, he may say, listen, what is your vision for the next 3 years? Like, how do you guys see us making moves to become a winning organization? How do you see this? They may have told him things that he'd be like, you know what? I don't buy this at all. Like, if this is our approach, I'm not in for this. Or there could be things where he'd be like, listen, if I'm a player and I know that my next contract's going to keep me here 4 more years or 5 more years, I want out. I am not dealing with this shit. Like, I don't want to, it could be so many things, dude. Like, there's exactly something happened, right? There's something had to happen.
Yeah. No, something had to happen, or maybe something just didn't happen. And, I mean, I don't think he would have taken it to this level if, there was just no talks at all. But maybe that is what happened, that the Jets just kept saying, hey, we're going to get to you, and there was literally just no conversations about anything. He sent over his proposal. It didn't get answered. Hey, we were supposed to talk to you after the draft. I'm still waiting. Nothing happened. And maybe he's just beyond insulted now, and combined with not believing in Adam Gase, not believing in ownership, tired of 3 years of losing, all of those factors now, and he is completely done. I mean, it's probably not just one thing, but it wouldn't shock me if there was one thing that kind of put him over the edge, that happened maybe more recently. I really don't know.
Like I said, I would have been really impressed if Chris Johnson and Joe Douglas got on a plane and meeting and be like, listen, Jamal, you're meeting us right now, and we're cutting this shit. Like, either we're gonna squash this and figure it out and give you a true understanding of what's going on here, or we're gonna make sure that it's clear how we're gonna handle this going forward until we get rid of you.
But why the hell are they so reactionary to everything? Why does it have to blow up and become a big story for them to want to get out and address it? We talked about this for months, that this was going to happen. Anybody with any kind of pulse on this team knew the direction that this was going to go in if the Jets didn't talk contract or get a contract done. So clear as day that this was going to happen. So what in the hell were they waiting for? Like, is this what they want? I truly can't figure it out. For the life, I can't figure it out.
No, listen, I don't know. Like, we're trying to figure it out. We're making assumptions and trying to guess, and all we can go on is just based on history. And some things change, some things stay the same. Like, we know Gase's history, we know the Jets' history of contracts, and we know how ownership acts sometimes. We don't know what Joe Douglas is in terms of general manager. We have no idea, and we don't know what really happened. And now it's like, now we got to deal with it. And as like I said, as a fan, it's disappointing because, like, you're trying to embrace some kind of positivity with this team. Like, 7-9 is not a good season. Like, I'm tired of being out of playoffs. I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of justifying losing. I'm tired of rebuilding. Like, you just want to see winning football, dude. And, like, you see Sam Darnold working out on the beach. Like, all right, that's the most important guy. So that's a good sign. He's healthy. He's doing his thing. But it's great. But it's like, you just want to be an elite level team. You want to have good players on both sides of the football. I mean, 2 weeks ago we talked about how many game-breaking players we have on this team. I did it with Tyrone, and it was like, all right, you have Darnold, maybe Bell. Hopefully Beckham becomes that as a lineman. On defense, it was like Mosley, Adams, and then you hope other guys emerge. So now you're taking one of these elite playmakers. Now you're taking it off your team possibly. So that's like, it's just like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to wait another 2 years. Like, I'm tired of waiting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like last year broke me, dude. Like, I'm tired of this shitty football. I'm tired. Like, I just can't take anymore. And you want a glimmer of hope where, okay, we're rebuilding the right way. We have good pieces of the puzzle. We're keeping the people we need, and we're going to add to it. You know, you don't subtract your best player and say, okay, now we're, you know, like, I don't know, man. I'm probably repeating myself, but I'm so frustrated.
An even bigger part of this to me was like, again, if you have those communications and you find out that Jamal Adams, his heart's just not set on playing in New York ever again, like that would be a sign that, okay, now we can actually start like an actual true, like tear it down. Like that would have been necessary. If you have to get rid of Jamal, okay, we get rid of Bell, we get rid of whatever other contracts we have on the books, and we actually start over. We get that extra first-round pick in this draft. Maybe we even turn that pick into more picks for next year. Like, you know, Douglas, he showed he could do that in the draft. So, again, like accumulating as many assets as possible because you're tearing it down. But if you're keeping Jamal and you sign some free agents this year, okay, that kind of gives the impression that, you know, you're still trying to win this year. You know, obviously Adam Gase is under plenty of pressure to win this year. So he's going to want as much talent there as possible. There's just so many different layers to this thing, and it seems like everyone's just going in a different direction. I don't know what the hell the plan is. Like, are we trying to win? Are we trying to rebuild? Like, I don't know.
No, that's the whole thing. And like you said, like, dude, if Jamal tells you, listen, man, it's been fun. I don't buy into direction. I don't buy into your staff. I don't buy into none of this. I want out. Okay, cool. We trade you, and then guess what? You draft another receiver for Sam. You got Ashton Davis next to Marcus Maye. Like, your rebuilding plan starts in this draft this past year. Like, all right, you know what? It sucks we're gonna lose you, but we're gonna take this and make as much as we can and start the rebuild as we're doing in 2020 with the players we need. You can get that, like getting a first rounder. Hey man, you could have got CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy or whoever. You know, Henry Ruggs. You know what I mean? You add that, you lose them all, but you add a receiver, another guy, and you have Ashton Davis. Like, all right. But now it's like after the fact. Now to me there's a lot of pressure on Joe Douglas now to get the max value of this package in very difficult circumstances. The draft is already over. So now you got to get, you know, max value for the draft next year, and ideally you need a player this year too. So, you know, and if you don't get that, then what? Like, if I'm the Baltimore Ravens or I'm the Dallas Cowboys, and Joe Douglas calls me up, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna give you a third rounder. We want a first rounder. Yeah, I'm giving you a third rounder. Take it or leave it. You don't like it? Oh well, enjoy your problem, not my problem. We don't need Jamal Adams this year. He's not. You know what I mean? Like, teams can play hardball to Jets, but listen, we'll hold you out. We'll wait until you come down to our level. We're not going to yours. Right? Is there really a bidding war for Jamal Adams right now? Are there like 3 or 4 teams willing to mortgage their next year's draft for Jamal Adams? Are there teams willing to do that?
I think there would be plenty of teams interested in giving up a significant package. I just don't know if Jamal would want to go to those teams, you know, because he's obviously set on going to a team that's already built to win now. And so, yeah, I mean, obviously, once you have a list that's already set and those teams are, you know, competing with each other, how many of them actually have a need for Jamal?
Yeah, but Kevin, right now, most teams, like once the draft is over and the second wave of free agency is over, most teams right now, in the back of your head, you kind of think this is your roster going into 2020. Yes, you tinker in the training camp. We have injuries and some other maybe moves like that, but you kind of think this is what your roster is going to be. So if you get Jamal Adams, if you get him in a trade, it's kind of like a Christmas present. Like, oh, cool, this is great, or a surprise present. Oh, look, great. But if you don't, he's not like a must-have. So like I said, if I'm the Cowboys, I'd like, and you know he wants to go there or whatever else, I'd like, listen, I'm not giving you a first rounder, man. I'll give you a second round this, you know, in 2021 and 2022. Like, you can play all the kind of games you want and put a tremendous amount of pressure on Joe Douglas to see, can you break him? Will he crack? Will ownership get involved and say, hey, listen, just get rid of him. I can't take the bad media anymore. You know what I mean? Like, the teams can play hardball and really test what he's about.
Actually losing Jamal Adams is going to hurt less than how we're going to end up losing Jamal Adams. Because, again, like, not to bring it up for the 5th time, but just not having basic dialogue with your top player. That's pretty much what led to all this. Obviously, there could have been some other stuff that contributed, but if you kept the communication lines open as soon as the season ended, okay, even before then, you know, at the trade deadline when you already knew he was pissed off, if you were having these conversations, there is no reason to be blindsided right now in June by all this stuff, a potential holdout, you know, having to trade him, whatever the end result might be. There is no reason that this should have happened. Because if you had the conversations back in March or April, then you know this guy, he wants to be here. He's asking for a lot of money. Is he worth it? Hell yeah. Okay, so you eventually work out a contract. Or he sets his mark ridiculously high, and there, you know, the back and forth that you're having, it's not getting anywhere. Or he just flat out says, hey, I'm really not interested in being a Jet. But if that was the case, why wouldn't he just say that at the beginning? Why even say that he wants a contract? So, again, it's probably something that happened more recently probably the Jets just not answering, not having those communications at all. And, yeah, this is where we're at now. He does not want to be a Jet. He does not want to put that uniform on anymore. And as wrong as he's been, I get it. I hate to say, but, like, I feel for I get where he's coming from with this.
So, in your opinion, Kevin, as we wrap this up here, do you think this is where we're beyond? It's done? Like, there's no way the Jets can keep Jamal Adams?
Probably. I mean, I don't want to say never, because obviously, the Revis situation, that got pretty ugly at times. But, even Revis didn't take it to this level. So I feel like the fact that Jamal has gone to this level, with some of the things that he has said about the Jets, whether it's deserved or not, it's going to make it very hard for the Jets to, I think, just look the other way and give him that contract, or to even feel comfortable giving him that contract, knowing in the back of his mind that he's not really, he doesn't really have a whole lot of faith in this organization to get things right. And so you give him the money, and then does he quit? Is it, just a matter of time for his next social media storm, bashing the team, or, what's going to happen afterwards? You don't really know. So that perfect image that you were paying the guy who did every single thing right on and off the field, well, that's taken a hit. And so in spite of how we might understand why it's taken a hit, it's still taken a hit. So from the Jets' perspective, now do you reward that? What do you do? And so it's just a complete mess.
Well, Primetime, give out how everybody can read your article, man, because it was really good on the NYSF magazine. So tell people how they can read that, because it's good. Welcome back, man. Like, I've been missing you, man. Last 2 weeks, I've been causing all kinds of chaos on here.
Hey, I'm ready to join in the chaos. Anyone that wants to chat, bring me back on. I'm ready to fight with anybody tonight. Check out nysfmag.com. Articles posted up there on the blog site. And, yeah, I mean, I just wanted to put something together that was just real and honest, because I see the two extremes that are out there. People that are just ripping the hell out of Jamal Adams, personal insults and, telling him to get lost, jersey burning, all that. And I'm like, the fan in me, like, wants to say all that stuff, but it's impossible when I have the same kind of feelings towards the Jets organization for all of their shortcomings as well. So, this is just a situation that has escalated. Both sides have plenty of blame for how it got to this point, for why it got to this point. And, again, I'll just keep saying that the biggest losers are going to be the fans, because a winning product is what we want. And, getting rid of Jamal Adams, especially, with how things have gone over the last few months, with this turning into a circus again, it just puts us further away from that.
Primetime, good stuff as always. Thank you, man. And if anybody wants to call you out, I will gladly bring you back on, because I'm going to cause some chaos with the callers now. So
I'm right here.
So what we're going to do is we're going to bring on my good friend Tyrone, who I know is chomping at the bit. I promise I talked to him about 20 minutes ago, so my bad, dude. Tyrone, what's up, man?
What's going on? Tyson, yo. Always a good show, man. You in prime time, man. Y'all was killing that, bro. But I got a few different perspectives, man. Like, I'm going to be really honest with you. I'm not trading him without a good deal, period. I just don't see the point in that. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't think he puts on another Jets uniform. I'm not trading him. I mean, it makes no sense to take nothing. You lose value with that. And Primetime hit on a major point. I think everyone is making this personal. It's business. It's not personal. And I don't think nothing really happened. I think he wants to go to a winning organization, period. The kid's from LSU. He's used to winning, and the Jets are a losing organization. So why would he want to stay there? So that's the biggest point right there.
Yeah, but then isn't it up to Joe Douglas and Adam Gase to sell them their vision? Hey, listen, man, I know you want to win. We haven't accomplished that yet, but here's what we're going to do to get there. Like, listen, the money aside, like, I understand the whole contract thing, and he wants the money, and yes, I understand, but something else is triggering this. And it's got to be either a problem with Gase, a problem with ownership, or he's not buying into the vision of this team or the direction the team is going. So wouldn't it be up to them to kind of sell him? Like, listen, man, you're due for a new contract. Yes, we have leverage over the next couple of years, but, this contract thing's going to come to a head. Sell him something. Communicate with him something to keep him as the team player that he is.
Well, I mean, I hate to argue in wisdom, but I don't think it's none of that, bro. I think that he wants to leave because he wants to win. I mean, we're an organization that has lost the 3 years he's been there. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to lose this year as well.
What the hell have the Cowboys been winning? The Cowboys haven't won anything either. What did the Cowboys won?
But at the end of the day, they're on the cusp of winning. You know what I'm saying? They're a step above us when it comes to winning.
The cusp of winning what, dude? You can make the same case for Jets and Sam Darnold. What are the Cowboys winning, dude?
I mean,
Yes, they have more weapons, but they're not a perennial Super Bowl team.
But they have ownership that understands that's about the players and making them happy. And he's from
Shit,
Texas.
they're still not winning.
In.
What do the Cowboys want?
He wants to. He wants
so
to.
He wants to win doesn't mean he manages the team right.
If
it's a bigger stage for Jamal. That's about it.
Then why would this man want to leave a team that's willing to pay him to go to a team that he doesn't need a contract from? That shows you right there. It's not, everyone is like, it has to be something. No. He wants to play in Dallas. That's his home team. That's his home state. That's where he's from. That's where he wants to play at. That's probably every kid in Dallas' dream or in Texas'
dream. So you don't think nothing's changed, man? You think once the season's over, this is going to be his plan the entire time? Like, did nothing happen? You think this was his plan the entire time? He said, dude, he tweeted it out. They had preliminary discussions on a contract. He's excited about it. He can't wait to stay here. He said it himself. That was earlier in the offseason.
I think at the end of the day, man, when you look at the team that we have compared to other teams that he wants to go to, Seattle, Baltimore, I don't know why he said Philly, but, what I'm saying, these are teams that are ready to win teams, that are better coached and have a better track record of organization. I mean, our biggest problem is, number one, is our media. Number two is probably the way our fans, saying this really rip, but I can't blame the fans as well because, like, Prime Time hit on some key points, man. Like, listen, I'm a diehard Jets fan, and I hate the fact that we got to lose Jamal, but at the end of the day, it's time to move on. You know what I'm saying? If this kid doesn't want to be here, there's nothing you can do about it.
But here's the problem, though. Like, listen, to me, it's like, okay, like, now we're just excusing him. If he doesn't want to be here, get him rid of here. Like, get rid of him. To me, it's like, what is causing it? There's something that has to cause this rip other than him wanting to leave. Like, there's something, dude. Like everybody wants to ignore the elephant in the room that the shit that happened with Adam Gase down in Miami. Like, we're just gonna ignore that, or the problems with ownership in the past. Like, everything is just on Jamal now. Like, this whole thing is just Jamal. Like, nobody else is at fault here. Like, something triggered this, dude.
Listen, I'm not saying the Jets aren't at fault for this. Should have gave the man the contract. I understand that, but I also understand it's a pandemic as well. So it's hard to Jamal to say, I'm going to give you $17 million. Now, I don't know if they allocate this to him or not. But it's hard to say, Jamal, I'm going to give you 17, 18, 20 million up to what you want. And I don't know what the cap's going to be next year. That makes no logical sense. That's bad business. You know what I'm saying? See, he's making it personal, and that's the problem that I have with it. It became personal for him to the business. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, we like, I don't know if it's gays or not. Who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, because I
care. I care if it's Gase or not. If Gase is if Gase is doing the same thing he did in Miami, I care. Because the last thing I want to do is start running players out of town. Like, okay, everybody wants to discount Jamal. Oh, get rid of Jamal. Who cares? Trade him. He's a pain in the ass. Okay, he's gone. And then what? Then we got to replace him now. Not this year. Like, dude, we're losing pieces now. So what is causing this? And what's the aftermath of it? Do other players around the league look at it and be like, oh, listen, man, they can't take care of their own, or they don't want to take care? Like, is it that? Or do they look at Jamal as like a Beckham, where he's just a pain in the ass wherever he goes? Like, what's the league viewpoint of Jamal Adams right now?
Well, I mean, the league loves Jamal. It's like I said, man, we have a track record of being a bad. I ask you a question, Tyson. Are we a better team than we were last year? Now, I'm not talking about the stuff that's going on now. I'm talking about what Joe Douglas has done between the draft and free agency. Are we in better shape than we were last year?
Well, I mean, just the offensive line alone makes you a better team. Other than that, I still have question marks all over the place. The biggest question mark for us. Tyrone, the biggest question about this team going into the offseason was the offense. They mixed and matched. They got better offensive line depth. I'll give them that. The wide receiver position, to me, is still a question mark. And running back is the same. I'm like, I don't feel like I'm not doing cartwheels over it. The offense is still a question for me.
But in comparison to where we were last year, this is a better roster. It's a better team. The second-tier players
I'd hope so,
better.
dude. That's the goal every year. You have a draft. You have a drafted players. Like, you're supposed to get better. They change players. You're supposed to.
At some point, man, we have to understand that, we've had 10 years of bad leadership, Tyson. It's not going to be fixed overnight.
Well, tell Jamal that. Don't tell me that.
Nobody. No, I mean, it doesn't matter because he don't want to hear it. Like, listen, when you're on the video saying, yo, I'm trying to get to Dallas, bro, listen, I love Jamal. And I'm not blaming Jamal for getting his money. Get your money by all means. But at the same time, man, when you start saying, you basically say F the fans, it's kind of like F you. I mean, at the end of the day, like, Prompton just said, we're Jet fans regardless. Like Tyson, if Jamal leaves, you can stop being a Jet fan? You know what I'm saying?
Of course not.
Adam Gase is our coach next year. Exactly. You've been a Jet fan your whole life. See,
but that doesn't prevent me from questioning things. Like, I can still question. But
he don't love
that
the
could
Jets
be,
like we love the Jets.
or it's a business
That's the
decision,
point.
like I said, or it came down to he enjoyed being here, he loved it, but he's like, you know what? If you're not like times like this, if you're working at a company, right? You love the job, but you're due for a pay raise, and you know you've earned it, and they don't give it to you. What do? You put your resume on LinkedIn and you look for another job, right? And if somebody
Absolutely,
bites,
but Tyson,
that's exactly how it works.
His biggest thing is his legacy, man. He wants to be a winner. Yeah, that's the dream he's selling. He's looking at just 2-3 years we might not win. That's what it is. That's the whole point, man. Like I said, listen, man, I'm a diehard Jet fan. You a diehard Jet fan. Everybody on this show is a diehard Jet fan. So he doesn't love his team like we do. Like if Jamal leaves, yeah, I'm gonna be pissed off. But at the end of the day,
no players do though. But Tyrone, listen, the fans are 10 times more invested than the players are, and you know how you know that when the Jets lose a shitty game at home and they're getting their asses beat and they get the Sam Darnold seeing ghosts. We leave that stadium or we do whatever. We're on this podcast or making videos. We're pissed off. We're angry. We can't talk for 2 days. The players are going out to dinner with their friends after the game. Sometimes they're the opponent hanging out and like, hey man, it's a job. It's a job. Like we're 10 times more invested. That's why the fan is short for fanatic. That's what we are. So I get that, but I mean, I don't know, man. I just think there's more to this, and I don't know. I guess
his biggest point is he wants to win. That's it. So wherever he feels he can win at, then that's where he wants to go to. Now, I have a different outlook than both of you guys. I am not trading Jamal for nothing. I'm not doing it. I don't care what kind of distraction you give. I'm not giving him away. Because we haven't had a Pro Bowl in how long? So we're going to give you a Pro Bowl away just because he doesn't want to be here? I don't get that, bro. I'm sorry. Like, you're right. It's a travesty that our management didn't fix the problem. But right now, we can't talk about what could have, should have, would have been. We're looking at where we are right now. Listen, you want Jamal, come get him. Door's open. But if he doesn't want to be here, then guess what, buddy? You got to ask him to be a Jet so I can find someone that gives me a suitable trade. Period.
Yep.
Or if you dislike the Jets that much, take that $40,000 a day shouldn't bother you. Sit your ass at home. That's it. Listen, it's not personal, it's business. I understand where Jamal comes from. Listen, there's no Jet fan out here that can really be honest and say, oh, we're better off with Jamal. No, we are not a better team without Jamal because, number one, we're going to lose Jamal. I don't want to draft pick next year. And then also, man, you think about how do you replace a guy that's unreplaceable? How do you do that? You know, and I'm not blaming Marcus Maye. You know what I'm saying? We've shitted on Marcus Maye from day one. We've disrespected this man. Now, all of a sudden, you want to show me love? Nah, player. Nah. You know, so, like I said, man, it's such a frustrating aspect to have to watch this team keep going through the same things, but eventually it has to stop. So, at the end of the day, man, I mean, what else can I say? We've been talking about this, man. Listen, this has been nothing. Go ahead.
No, listen, I agree with you. I agree with everything you're saying. Like, and I am exactly in the same boat. If I'm Joe Douglas, I mean, obviously, I told Kevin, like, I would have went to Dallas already and had to sit down with him, with Chris Johnson, like, listen, we're going to get behind closed doors and figure out what we're going to do going forward because this is not acceptable for him to act like this and for the Jets to just be quiet. Like, just figure it out. But, dude, I keep him. Like, I make him sweat. I make him miserable until I get the exact package I want. And if I don't get it, good luck, Jamal. Go to your locker room with your teammates and deal with it. It's not our problem. This is you created this problem. You deal with your problem. That's exactly. And if you want to hold out and cost yourself $40,000 after 5 days, knock yourself out. Take the fines. We don't care.
Let me ask you another question. You guys have said that you don't know he goes to a team he wants. No, listen. I am trading him to where I want to trade him. They have his rights for 3 years. That's their problem.
Tough, though, Jamal. It's tough. I mean, it's tough, Tyrone, because here's the deal. And if he's going to be a pain in the ass like this, he'll make it very clear. Like I said, if you say, listen, we found a deal, you're going to the Bengals or you're going to wherever, Jaguars, he could be like, that's fine. I'll report. I'm not signing a new contract there. So if you're going to give up 2 first-round picks for a guy for 2 years, that you know in 2 years he's going to be gone, that you're going to play the same contract game, you know what I mean? Like, he's not going to be a willing participant to go to a team he doesn't want to go to. So he'll be a pain in the ass with that too. So that's the game he's going to play.
Yeah, but it's not 2 years, it's 3 years. So a lot can change in 3 years.
Yeah, but do you want to inherit that, man? Is it worth doing that?
Hey.
Is it worth inheriting a guy that you know is going to be just complete, just wants out?
It would be, listen, I'm 2 points I want to make real quick. Number one, we're not getting two firsts for Jamal right now. We're just not. So a first and a third, whatever.
So then keep
him.
him.
What I'm saying? But I am not. Well, no, I'll take the first and the third in the player or first in the player. I have a problem with that. If it's somebody that can benefit us, you know what I'm saying? But my problem is wherever we trade him to, man, listen, it has to work for us. Why would Dallas give us anything? Why would any other team give us anything? Maybe, you know what I'm saying, if there's any player on there that we really want that can help us right now. I don't want to, it's just the whole point, man. It's a shit show. And it's just going to get uglier. But at the end of the day, I am not giving away my best asset for nothing. You play chess, right? I'm not, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to.
I don't play chess. I'm not smart enough for chess, dude. Yes, I play chess. I don't play chess. I'm too dumb.
And I'm not giving my queen away for nothing. I would sacrifice my queen, but I better be getting something good in return. And that's just how I look at it, man.
You're making this show way too sophisticated, man. This is getting way too intelligent. This show. We were having a good conversation. Now you're talking chess. What's going on here, man?
Hey, listen, because you were sitting there saying, you were
talking about,
I'll try. But you're talking about giving away Jamal for a second-round pick. It gets no worse than that.
No, but you know what I said. I said no. If I'm the Dallas Cowboys, I play complete hardball. I'd be like, listen, you want a first-round pick and you want a third pick. I'm not giving you none of that. I'm giving you a second-round pick. Take it or leave it.
What I want to ask you is this. If you're sitting in the GM spot, honestly, what would you do right now? If you're the GM, okay, you already realize that he's not coming back. He doesn't want to play for us. What would you do at this moment right here? Would you trade him for nothing?
Nope. I told you. To me, if I'm Joe Douglas, he is going to report to the New York Jets at the end of July, beginning of August. And if he wants to hold out, knock yourself out. I have a value for him. If I don't get it, that's it. Dude, I will make him miserable. I don't care. Because as an organization, you can't get bullied around, man. You can't like we watch. Like, I'm in New York, dude. We watched Beckham do this with the Giants. We've seen this before. Like Jalen Ramsey did it. Like we've seen this. Like we know that there's a blueprint for this. The Giants still got it first, though. The Giants still got it first. So that's what you got to hold out. You got to hold out for it.
Go ahead. And Tyson, what you guys are not really looking at too. This is Joe Douglas' legacy. Like you would look like an ass to let Jamal go for a second or a third. You would look really stupid for that. So any other team that wants to bully us around, like don't get me wrong, like to me, from what I've seen with Joe Douglas in his negotiation, he a tough guy. So he's not gonna be punked, man. He's not gonna be pushed around. Like, look, Jamal, I love you to death, big fella. We want you to be happy wherever you want to be at. If Dallas wants you, come get him. Yo, let me get what I need. Come get him. But I am not giving this guy away. It makes no sense. And why set us back? It's going to set us back. We're sitting here talking about what we should have done. Them days are gone. So, no, Jamal, I love you. I'm not letting you go for nothing. You're that good of a player. That's what I'll tell to him. Look, baby, you know what? You the prez. You that guy. Would you give yourself away for nothing? And I think what it all comes down to is he was hurting his feelings when they were trying to trade him. I think that's what it all boils down to. He feels he's above reproach. And that I think at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, that he wants to go to a winning organization. And
Listen, I think he's probably surrounded by a lot of people that keep praising him. I mean, the fans, we've all done it. Like, all pro this, all pro that, best safety, pay the man. The Jets themselves said they will make him a Jet for life. Like, he's heard it from every angle, so it's probably in his head. I give you that. But I will still say, and you can say he wants to play for a winning team, I still think something else happened here. I think it's either a problem with Gase, a problem with the organization, doesn't trust the ownership, doesn't do something went amiss here. So, but Tyrone, what we're going to do is we're going to bring on some calls, man, but hold on, Tyrone, we got to get calls on, man. We got a lot of people hold there. So we're going to bring on, I just missed it. We're going to bring on Gary in Marlboro. Gary, what's up, man?
Hey, what's going on, Gary? How you doing, man? How are you? Doing okay. I'm actually out for a nice long walk here, listening to your show. So, appreciate
what are your thoughts on it, Gary?
So, it's very, very tricky. I don't know. It's very hard. I don't know what changed with the guy. I loved him. He was great. He was everything you wanted. If you trade him for a draft pick, you hope you draft him again, or basically the equivalent of him. That's the problem with it. But here's the other issue. I mean, if you flew down to Dallas right now and you said you put a deal on the table right now and said 5 years, 85, so 17 a year, right? Would he sign it right now?
Probably.
I don't know. I mean, you think he would sign it right now? So he'd be a Jet. Everybody would forgive him. Everybody would show up in their Prez jerseys, and the whole world would be fine again. I mean, is it the money? Is it winning? I think that the Jets' image is not going to be made from Jamal Adams. The Jets' image in the next few years is going to be determined by what number 14 does, and that's if he has a big year, we're a destination. That's That's been the truth. That'll always be the truth. It is a quarterback league. Jamal Adams is a safety. He's been great for 3 years, and the Jets have won nothing.
But Gary, what would be the aftermath of this if the Jets, they don't pay him, they trade him away? I mean, he's a respected guy all around the league. Does that scare away free agents? Is that trickle down the locker room? What is the ripple effect of this?
No, I don't think it scares away free agents if Darnold comes out and is Darnold and is what we think, what we want him to be. If Darnold puts up 35 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, and the Jets somehow get to 10-6 this year, do you really care that the Jets bungled Jamal Adams? I mean, you're going to get big-time players wanting to come play with a big-time quarterback. That's always been the case. You have.
Hey, Gary, I have a question for you, Gary. So, what would you if with the situation with Jamal about trading him? What's the least you would take right now for Jamal, or would you keep?
I want a 1 and a 3. Otherwise, he's a Jet. And
so what if he doesn't show up?
Good. Then he doesn't get a year of service, and he still has 2 more years left, and a possible third. So he'll show up. He's not stupid. I mean, he's a good player. He's obviously become a clown show in terms of the social media aspect. The only difference between him and Revis is 10 years ago there wasn't Twitter like there's Twitter today. So he couldn't really, Revis couldn't do this like Jamal Adams can, So, I think if you don't get a 1 and a 3, you keep him, and you basically say, listen, we want you here. We've always wanted you here. That's never wavered. We obviously had our reasons why we kind of shut things down with the pandemic and not knowing and the uncertainty and everything else that comes with that. But, I still think in the back of my mind that they can mend this long term. And if they can't, you know what? You got to look at it from 2 sides. Right now, would you rather have Jamal Adams and Ashton Davis long term and you let Marcus Maye walk? Or would you rather sign Marcus Maye for less money than Adams, right? Get a 1 and a 3 for Adams and then still have Davis. I mean, that's really the 2 kind of decision, the ways that the decision goes with these guys at this point. You know what I mean? So you're either going to go down one of those paths or the other. If I don't get a 1 and a 3, and I still have all 3 of them this year, and if Adams shows up and plays, he'll play, by the way. He will show up and he will play. He will be a diva. He already is a diva. I think we know about that. Problem is he's a great player. But the other thing is, you know what? The Jets aren't going to be a destination unless the quarterback becomes the quarterback. And that's the fact of the matter with the league. You know what? Every destination is a destination because of the quarterback. Nobody wanted to go to Tampa last year. Why does everyone go to Tampa this year? Figure it out. It's not that hard.
Well, the quarterback and the coach, man. Sometimes it's the coach too. It's not just the quarterback.
Well, Gaze is a problem. But Tyson, I know we did the fan series a couple weeks ago, and one of the things that I said, and it was kind of contradictory to sort of what we all thought, I basically said Darnold is going to make Gaze and not the other way around. I still think that's the case. So
fair enough.
They're going to.
Gary, thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it.
If they're going to be good, it's going to be in spite of Gaze, and I've said it all along.
Have a good night, man. Thanks for calling. We appreciate it.
You too, man. Have a good one. All right, thanks.
All right, that's interesting. Interesting to hear that take. I mean, I agree, Tyron. To be honest with you, I mean, it is all about Sam Darnold. Like that's the king of the castle right now. That's the guy you want. That is a big piece.
That type that Sam say he wants to trade, I'm done, bro. I'm lost. Don't call me. I'm not talking to no shows. I won't talk to nobody. I'm done. But,
Dude, let's talk Jets be canceled. It'd be canceled. That'd be it. The show would be done. We'd have a farewell show where we just drink excessively and that'd be the end of it. So we're gonna go to my friend Matt in Philly. Man makes music too. Matt, what's up, man?
What's up, my man? I'm loving the show so far.
I know you got some hot takes, man. So what are you thinking about this Jamal Adams saga?
I'm so crushed and disappointed, and I'll tell you, this Jamal Adams is a child. I just don't understand what is going on right now. You got Pat Mahomes, who just won a Super Bowl, and he hasn't gotten his contract extended. Myles Garrett, same draft class, hasn't gotten his contract extended. We're in the middle of a pandemic with no foreseeable locked-in future about the salary cap. So what are we even talking about here? Jamal is a literal baby. I just don't get it. This guy, 2 years ago, asked for the dogs. So we give him Mosley. We give him Le'Veon Bell. We give him some dogs in that locker room. He said he's going to be the guy that changes the culture, and then the next day he wants out. He wants to go to a winning team.
Hey,
he
Matt.
wants to be Kevin Durant. It's funny. It's
Hey,
ridiculous.
Man, I got a question for you, Matt. So, at the end of the day, man, as a fan, I know you're hurt just like everyone else, man. But so as you put your GM hat on for a second, Matt, what's the outcome? What do you do? What's your next move?
I don't know. You don't send him to any of those 7 teams. We're not going to get shaken down like this. This is ridiculous. Joe Douglas comes in, inherits a mess from McCagnon, which, let me tell you something, Tyrone and Tyson. A big part of this probably is Tremaine Johnson and Mo Wilk. Jamal comes in as a rookie with Mo Wilk, fat as can be, can't even get on the field. And then Tremaine Johnson's making $14 million on the bench last year. Jamal's going to question his contract, no doubt about it. You know what I mean?
Wait, hold on,
now,
Matt. Wait, time out. We're going back to blaming this on Mo Wilkerson now? Come on, man.
No, I'm just saying. I'm saying Douglas. This is all part of my point. Douglas inherited a mess that McCagnon might have planted the seed in Jamal, saying, "Wow, look at Mo Wilk, look at Tremaine getting paid all this money, and they do nothing. They do."
But so Matt, wait, hold on.
I just want to make sure.
But Matt, hold on. The one difference, the first 2 years under with Bowles, Jamal Adams was fine. He was playing his heart out, all this stuff, and now, or the year of Bowles, and now you have Gase with. I mean, that's the thing that changed the most. It's the coaching, it's the direction of the team, how they're being managed, how they're being handled. That has nothing to do with this, especially after what he did in Miami.
I'm saying the seed was planted in McCagnon era. Tremaine Johnson's on the bench last year getting paid a lot, where Jamal was giving his life to the Jets. So I think that's where it was planted. Gase, yeah, we don't know what's going on with Gase because all we hear about is Cromartie saying there's a lot of problems. We don't ever actually hear the problems. We hear Jamal saying he wants to go to the Cowboys, but we don't actually hear the specifics of the problem. I would like to know what's going on in that locker room, like you and Tyrone and Kevin, but we don't know. So I'm going to take Douglas' side here because he's come in. He's built an O-line, which we were very weak on. He's done good things in the draft. He picked up the phone last offseason and got heckled by our best player because he answered the phone. It's just like I just think the common denominator is Jamal Adams just doesn't really know how this works.
So you're right now, how do you handle this? You're like Tyrone said, like right now it's what, June 23rd, it's a mess. Do you just hold out for the best offer and ship them? Like, do you think this is beyond repair then?
I'm pretty much done, guys. I mean, last trade deadline, I felt like I was going through a breakup. You know, he's taking interviews saying he wants to go to Dallas. Like, really, you know, I felt like I was breaking up with my girlfriend here. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? This guy told me that he was going to be the change of the Jets culture. It's not the same old Jets because I'm here and I'm going to do it. You bring me some dogs, Mosley and Le'Veon, which he did, and I'm going to lead this team to a good year. And let's not forget, you know, I think we were the worst 7-9 team in NFL history, so let's not forget that.
Agreed.
But it's not like we went to the playoffs, Jamal. It's not like we went to the playoffs.
So Matt, what do you think about Marcus Maye now? Do you think do you try to get Marcus Maye a contract done with him, or how do you think? Or are we gonna be without both Jamal and Marcus next year?
Let me tell you guys a quick story. After we drafted in 2017, that next year I got a Marcus Maye jersey. I did not get a Jamal Adams jersey. So everybody's saying, "Oh, we turn on Marcus Maye." I've been a Marcus Maye supporter and believer since day one, and I really hope we can keep him because, you know, he played every single game last year, and he gets a lot of credit. I think a lot of people don't realize that Jamal is good, but Jamal loves to tell everybody he's good. He doesn't lead by example like you see Sam working out, just doing what he needs to do.
Wait a minute, what?
Jamal,
the guy's a workout warrior. What are we talking about here? Oh, my God.
I think Jamal hypes himself up. Jamal hypes himself up.
He's on the field leading, man. He's on the field leading, man. He leads by example. I can't say that one, man. He's killing it on the field.
Dude, this call. What happened? I got to give you a sound bite.
And then right. Oh, come on.
Man.
You know everything I'm saying is right.
If it was right, we wouldn't be arguing with you. Dude, your call's going right in the tank right now. You started out strong. This is ending badly.
Because what did I say? Please tell me.
Jamal's not a leader.
By example.
He leads by example.
I think
he's the defense. His
never
his
said
energy
he
on the
didn't
field is
lead on the field.
contagious.
When did I
for Christ's
say this?
sake.
When
You
did I
just said
say
it,
he didn't
dude.
lead on the field? You
just said that 2
I
seconds
love the way
ago.
he leads. I said he hypes him up more than any other fan in this world. He hypes himself up. He loves to talk. He loves people to say Jamal Adams. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and there's no contract negotiations really, but he wants everybody to know Jamal Adams wants a contract. Nobody's talking contracts, but Jamal Adams wants people to talk about Jamal Adams.
But on the field, man, listen, prior to this pandemic and prior to all this stuff that's going on the field, man, he did answer the call, bro. I'm being real with you on that one. So he did, you know what I'm saying? So if he wanted people to say Jamal Adams during the season, he earned it. So, you know, I understand that part. But I do feel where you're coming from as well, brother. I do understand where you're coming from.
I think he's our best player, without a question. And his play does do the talking, but he doesn't let it completely. He does some of the talking for his play. You guys aren't.
I'm getting it. I'm just not agreeing with you.
Like,
listen, man, we could talk about a lot of things, but what he does on the field, dude, you could watch Brian Baldinger break it down, whatever else. His energy, his passion, his determination to make plays is unquestioned, man. Like that, his on the field stuff, I'll never worry about that. That's. I mean, he's all pro player for a reason. He's gotten better every year.
That's true, man.
He is great, and I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying he's our best player. No question about it. But let me ask you something. When has Jamal Adams really won us a game in the fourth quarter? When have we ever been in a position for him to do it? Yes, I agree.
Oh, my God.
But you know what? We're 7-9.
The Giant game? The Dallas game? The Giant game?
You won those games, bro. Like, this is true. Bro.
I hate this. Dude, I hate this argument. Because they're like, oh, what games has he won? This defense is overrated with Jamal Adams on it. If you want to take that, then look at the offense. The offense sucked with Sam Darnold on it. I don't like that makes no sense with that argument at all. It makes no sense.
You can't diminish what he's done on the field.
He's given us a lot of headaches off the field, and I think it outweighs his on the field play. At this point, I think it does.
Like this offseason. It started last year for a little bit during the trade deadline. It lasted a week, and then everybody's back to normal when he was playing well and doing his thing. Like, to me, this is not an on-the-field thing at all, dude. This has nothing to do with on the field whatsoever. To me, I would have, going into this offseason, I said pay him. Give him the money, get him done, make him a building block, and we're good to go. Like, I had no problem with it whatsoever. Now it's a complete disaster.
I just want to make my point clear. You guys asked me about Marcus Maye. He played all 16 games, and he did a lot for us on the field. Jamal Adams did a lot for us on the field. They were drafted in the same class. Jamal Adams, yes, he thinks he deserves to be paid. But Marcus Maye has done his job, put his head down, and understands the business, and understands we're in a pandemic, and understands that nobody's getting a contract right now. So why does Jamal Adams have to shake down our Joe Douglas and turn the fans on Joe Douglas? And yeah, we're not going to go into ownership. Ownership is in shambles as usual. But I'm just saying Jamal has no ground to stand on, and I really feel that way. He's great, but it outweighs what's going on. I don't understand how he doesn't understand what the world is right now, and there's no negotiation.
Well, then, listen, and I agree. Listen, I agree that maybe he doesn't understand, but I also think that maybe there's a chance, which nobody wants to talk about this, there's a chance maybe the Jets aren't doing their part by just communicating with him. Maybe they broke promises. Maybe they did other things. Like I know everybody wants to blame Jamal and call him all these things. He warrants a lot of it, but I can't let the Jets go here. Like, something to me happened or didn't happen, or something, some kind of level of trust has been broken. Whether it's negotiating, not doing something, there's something wrong here, other than just Jamal being a pain in the ass. There has to be, dude. It changed too fast, man. Like, something changed significantly.
What happened during the trade deadline last year? Joe Douglas picked up
after
the phone,
the season, they talked about it, though. After the season, Joe Douglas said we want to make him a Jet for life. Jamal Adams tweeted out, we had good conversations early on. I'm looking forward to be a Jet. Like, everything was good at the end of the season. They had their end-of-season meetings. Everything was squashed. Everybody was fine. And they said, we're going to talk contract. Then it was like, we'll talk after the draft. Then we'll talk after the second week of free agency. They said they were going to talk contract. So that means everybody was cool. Something changed. Did the Jets say, hey, we don't have the money to pay you. We don't want to pay you. We're not going to talk about it now. Something in terms of the communication or the finances, something changed here where what they told him isn't happening. Or maybe he just doesn't agree with what they're saying. But it was all fine until, 2 months ago?
Think about what set him off last time, though. How do we not know this is Jamal Adams just hearing something, her looking
Why
at a
is
tweet?
it like? But how like? Why can't it be a Jet? Like, can't the Jets have any blame in this? Like, why is it all Jamal? Like, just because he's acting like an asshole doesn't mean like he's completely wrong. They could be screwing him over, dude. Like Cromartie hinted at it.
Could be.
Like I don't trust the organization, dude. I will never trust this organization or ownership until they prove me wrong, and they've not proven me wrong yet. So I'm not going to give Jamal Adams 100% of the blame in this. I just can't. You can't. Like you gotta. I gotta just kind of look at both sides here, man. Like you gotta see are they playing like is Joe Douglas playing a ridiculous game of hardball, or is Adam Gase saying, you know what, I don't even want this guy back. I want him out of here. We don't get along. His personality doesn't match our locker room. Like, or is ownership saying, hey, listen, we don't know. There's something else.
I don't think Adam Gase has that much power, though, dude. If we're playing like Jamal,
I can't guarantee that either.
Playing like him. That would be great. I tell you what, if Joe Douglas allowed that, then you know what I'm saying, he'll never be a GM, or he won't be one for long.
Tyson, Jamal is going crazy on Twitter saying goodbyes. Then you know what? Tell us the reason. He hasn't told us a legit reason. I'm just using the context clues here and see. He went crazy because last offseason he compared himself to Tom Brady and Aaron Donald when our GM just listened to a phone call. That's what set him off. If he's saying it's all about the Jets and Gase and doesn't back me and Joe Douglas doesn't back me and the owner doesn't back me, then just tell us on Twitter. You're telling us everything else that you want to be out.
I'm sure it's
going to
come out sooner or later, man. I think it's going to come out, but I think it's just he's getting there. I think it's going to come. Matt, thanks for calling in, man. Good to hear from you. It's been a while.
Oh, my heart rate's through the roof. Let me tell you guys something. I hate Kevin Durant, and Jamal Adams is showing a lot of Kevin Durant right now. Listen to those Kevin teams. Send them to the AFL.
Good night, man. Have a good night.
See you guys.
Hey,
Tyrone, it's funny because
playing,
you know what's funny is, like, you know how we roll, man. It's just like, listen, if you say something, I'm just be like, listen, we keep it real here. Like, we can't. I will rip Jamal Adams for everything he's done in the media, the social media, all this stuff. But as a player on the field, like, you look at what we all thought of him 2 months ago. Just 2 months ago, we're all talking about him. It wasn't. I think our only argument was how much. It wasn't about to pay him. It was how much are we going to pay him. That was the argument, right? Like that's weird. Like, oh, you can only give him 15, not 17, but 16 or maybe 15. It was a kind of a foregone conclusion he was going to get his money. Just a matter of when.
Absolutely.
And now it's like, oh, he's not worth it. Screw him.
And I'm gonna say this, man. For anybody else to call tonight, man. If you're saying that Jamal didn't show it on the field, please don't say that because I don't know what might come out my mouth. I'm just saying. I'm trying to be good tonight. Let's go, fellas.
We're gonna
don't diminish what he's done on the field. You can diminish what he's done on Twitter, but not on the field. He earned that.
All right, we're gonna go to Mr. NYSF Magazine. Jay, what's up, man?
Tyrone, we're about to have our first fight, my man. It had to happen. You're a veteran now. This is what your third or fourth show with Ty here, and you and I are about to have our first fight because you just said something incredible, and it needs to be smacked down. And I'm here for the people. So here's where.
Yeah,
my man, did you just say that Adam Gase? You don't think he has that kind of power? I'm pretty sure you just said that, and I'm going to explain to you what we're dealing with here. Adam Gase came into this place on despite a losing record in our division where we witnessed what he did to the Miami Dolphins on the word of Peyton Manning and convinced our owner after allowing the GM who helped hire him to spend $100 million and run a draft, and then he convinced that same owner to fire the guy who helped hire him, brought in his own GM pretty much, his buddy, and then, on top of it, started off 1-7, and even though the owner of this place said to us fans, who I was standing right there, that he hopes that the team is so unprepared, he hopes the team just shows up and walks off the plane this week, a week later went public and gave that same coach a vote of confidence and guaranteed him year 2 after starting 1-7. So if you don't think Adam Gase has that kind of power in that building, you're dead wrong. Adam Gase is running the show down there, and that is part of why I am so goddamn fed up with this weak, pathetic, despicable front office that we have at our ownership group. And what we're seeing with Jamal Adams, while I hate what Jamal Adams is doing and have been very open and outspoken about that, I'm with Kev. I'm equally disgusted with this front office that allows this shit to keep happening every damn year. it's mind-boggling. We are the most Mickey Mouse ragtag operation, and it's because I've seen those people down there who run the show.
It's not the case. It's crazy to say that Gaze has this much power to just, say that, you want to get rid of Jamal. How do you want to get rid of Jamal? Prior to this?
Dude, I can tell you that I've spoken to people, okay, who have told me, and I'm not going to reveal who those people are, but I don't just bullshit you guys and say stuff. But I've spoken to people who told me that Adam Gase openly mocks Jamal Adams behind his back in that building, and word got back to Jamal, and that's what I heard. And I don't know any way to verify that, but I don't ever come on here and say bullshit that I'm not comfortable feeling that I know that this source knows what they're talking about. So if that's the case, and Jamal Adams feels that like he's being mocked by the head coach, and let's be honest, just like Tyson said earlier, Adam Gase, this happened where he was in his last stop in our division with our rival. This happened. We've seen this. It's his playbook. So to discount that Adam Gase could be running the show after everything that I just said to you, okay? After I just told you everything that went down since that man's been hired, how could you say you don't think he has that kind of power? That guy has some kind of mind control. Maybe it's his crazy eyes hypnotizing Chris Johnson or something, but he has some kind of mind control over him, and I don't think that it's some tinfoil crazy conspiracy to say that. Look at all the evidence that shows exactly what this guy is and exactly what happens when he brings his show to town. And I'm sick and tired of it, man. And I'm not giving him a pass. I'm not giving ownership a pass. I'm not giving the front office a pass. Clowns, dude. This organization, unfortunately, is run by clowns. And for 12 years, it wasn't a clown show from 98 to 2010 because Bill Parcells set this franchise up for long-term sustained success, and it took 12 years for the Johnsons to completely screw it up, okay? And unfortunately, this is where we're at. We are a clown show organization that can't keep our own players around because we have such a dysfunctional situation at the top of our organization.
So Jay, then where do we go from here? But where do we go from here then? I agree with you. Like a part of it, listen, I agree with you. Like I hate what Jamal is doing. I hate the approach. I hate everything about this. I can't stand it. Like I'm completely just disgusted with it. But I think something happened to bring this out in him. So it's like, all right, now the shit's hit the fan. Like we are in crisis mode. What's the next step here? Like I would have already met with him with ownership and said, listen, we got to figure out how we're going to handle this. But what do we do now? Where do we go from here?
Dude, where do we go from here? I'm going to tell you where we go from here. This organization's doomed until we get responsible, respectable adults in the building that command respect. Guys not like Adam Gase, man. Like I said on Twitter earlier today, I'm not positive that Mike McCarthy was that guy.
But what about
guy,
Joe
right?
Douglas and his all-star staff? We've got a respectable front office. Like the scouting department's upgraded. Like it's all Joe Douglas, dude. All these guys, Alexander, Hogan, they're all reputable.
We don't know what kind of power Joe Douglas actually has in that building. Manish Mehta has been writing article after article that keep getting ignored. I don't know why, talking about how Jets ownership put extreme financial constraints on Joe Douglas this offseason. He may not have the power to he may not have been authorized to even negotiate a long-term deal with Jamal Adams. Who knows? What kind of power does he have? He may not have the authority to do that. And so that puts him in an awkward spot because Jamal keeps wanting an answer, and maybe Joe Douglas doesn't want to tell him, hey, listen, I don't have the authority to negotiate that. I've been told no long-term contract this offseason, so you know what? You're going to have to hit me up next year. And if that's what happens, okay, if Joe Douglas promised Jamal at the trade deadline he was going to address his contract in the offseason, and then Chris Johnson said, or Woody Johnson or whoever said, no long-term contract this offseason after he already promised that, what kind of position does that put Joe Douglas in? He has no power. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I don't have any way to back that up, but that's what happens in this Mickey Mouse organization. We are run by clowns with no plan. There's no plan.
Hey, Jay,
there's no plan.
Jay, I got a question, Jay. I have a question for you, Jay. And I deserve all that smoke, and I'll take all that, Jay.
You got plenty of smoke.
This, Jay. Exactly. Jay was on fire. Jay, what I want to know is this, Jay. If you're Joe Douglas right now, what are you doing, Jay? What is Jay
Resigning.
doing right now?
resigning before this franchise ruins his career and sucks it. You know, dude, I say that half jokingly, but you know, in all sincerity, like if we have such meddling ownership that gets involved that forces Tim Tebow down people's throats, that does, like, they don't learn, right? So, like, you know, we have, and this shit keeps happening every year. This happened with Revis. This happened with John Abraham. It goes way back, dude. This shit
happened with
happening.
Robbie Anderson.
Robbie Anderson, same thing, dude. We didn't, like I said last week on the show, Robbie Anderson, they didn't trade him at the trade deadline. Robbie Anderson was psyched, wanted to be here. The offseason comes. Why didn't he get a deal? What did we hold on to him for if we weren't going to? I just, dude, this organization has no plan, but then they ask fans to buy into their plan, but then there is no plan. And that's why I go ballistic, because I'm so sick and freaking tired of it, man. Like, enough is enough already with the fans. Dude, when I see fans, oh, this is our year. It's been 10 years that everyone says the same damn thing in the offseason, and then here we go again. You log on to Twitter, and it's like, oh, here's our franchise player, our all-pro, begging anybody who will put a video of him up and talking to everybody, talking about putting the Jets in the past tense. Oh, I'm going to miss playing with you the most, bro. You're my boy. Dude, I've never seen anything like it, but you know what? It's deserved, dude. I hate to say it. Jamal's doing the same damn thing that I do by putting planes and billboards in the air. We don't want to crap on our own organization, but enough is enough, man. Like, enough is enough with this organization. Find a plan, and the same plan, like the same thing the Jets front office does to their fans by pitching PSLs and going back on their word. They're never going to sell tickets in the section, but then they sell tickets in the section. They crash the value of the PSL, blah, blah, blah. It's the same shit. They don't learn from their mistakes. And they do the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different result. And the only chance the Jets ever have of winning a Super Bowl with the Johnsons as owners is if you can get a Bill Parcells type of guy in the building who is so respected that he's just going to do his thing and turn the keys over to him. Because the more you get these Adam Gase type guys and John Idzik type guys, dude, we're such a poorly run franchise, and they cannot spot talent. The Johnsons couldn't go to the Apollo and spot talent, man. They don't have an eye for talent. There's nothing that they can do that will bring in talent. They hired a talent seeking agency and still couldn't spot talent. These guys are the worst owners maybe in sports, and this is the result of it, man. This is the sad result, is that the guy that we love that wanted to be here for his career gave up. He quit. and now he's here for 3 years and 3 more years maybe. I agree. I wouldn't trade him for nothing. You can't. Joe Douglas has to try and salvage the situation as best he can. So, now we're in a spot because now if Jamal comes back and plays this year on that contract, I mean, if things start out like, could you imagine if things start out like 1-4, what that locker room is going to be like for the entire year? 1-3. If you get out to an 0-4 start this year with Adam Gase and with Jamal in that locker room and Le'Veon Bell in that locker room, then we've got one foot out the door, Marcus Maye in that locker room,
and Greg Williams.
And can you only imagine the circus that's going to ensue this year with no time to prepare, with the things shut down and rookies and an offensive line that's been patchworked together, and people think this team's a playoff team, dude. It cracks me up. It cracks me up every time I hear it.
Jay, first of all, I want to thank you for roasting Tyrone, and I want to thank you for calling in. This has been great.
Hey, Jay, I love you, baby. You already know. But listen, that was a real lesson right there, man. I had to sit back and get quiet. I didn't even want to say nothing. It's like, you just went in. And I love when you go on your rants. Jay when you go in, you go in. And I don't want no players in my house, man, so I'm going to be quiet.
Nothing but love here, man. I didn't enjoy that one bit, Tyrone, but you had to get initiated, man, because we all do this to each other all the time. And Tyson just made that last caller almost cry, so I felt empowered to be able to do it, man.
Thanks for calling, Jay.
Man, my goodness, bro.
Later, man.
You too, bro. Oh, my God.
So Tyrone,
I had to take that, bro. And listen, I wanted to say something, and I was like, nah, I'm going to let Jay get it all out. Listen, man, I love Jay. When Jay is on one like that, I've listened to the show for years. So when Jay goes on rants like that, like I'm not even imagining I'm on the show with you. I'm acting like I'm at home. So I'm just listening like, here go Jay. Like I didn't want to say that. Like Jay, just go. Hold on, you talking about me there, bro? That's me. Hold on, bro. I feel you. All right. Let's go.
You know what? The one thing you'll learn with all this stuff, man, is there'll be times you just get roasted. You just gotta sit back and be like, yep, I'm eating this one. This is just pure fire. And I'm just gonna endure it.
Like, but but I'm telling you, Tyson, like I'm so used to listening to the show and listening to Jay go on the rants with you and Joe. I've never been on this side of it, so I was kind of like in fan mode, like, hold on, just go, Jay, get him, Jay. Hold on, he's talking about me, bro. What's going on? I'm back though. Let's go.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, Tyrone. I had to mute my mic. I was in tears laughing. I'm like, I've been there before. I've been roasted before. I'm like, oh shit, that sucks. I'm like, hey, better him than me.
Hey, thank you, Tyson. I appreciate the love, bro. Like, I'm sitting there like, man, Jay, I thought we would have loved that, baby. But I earned
But see,
that,
the one thing you learn, and Primetime's good this too, when we all the same way, man. You'll see with Primetime, when somebody's going down a fire, we don't stop it, man. We just let it ride. We don't jump in. We just let you burn.
In years and years of listening to Jay go, that's the first time I had to get the one that's getting the fire. Hold on. Hey, Jay, I'm letting you know Nick Starman's going to be a problem. But I love you, though, baby. That was good, though, y'all. That was great.
We're going to go to – I'm in tears. We're going to Dan in Howard Beach. Dan, what's up, man?
What's going on, Dan?
Tyson, Tyrone, that was a killer interview, man. I love that one, man. Jay hit it on every point. And you know what? I'm going to continue that wavelength. I'm going to just piggyback off what Jay was saying on the ineptitude of the organization. Let me ask you guys a question. You know who actually found the snippet about what this organization ownership was all about? There was one guy that he saw it ahead of time. He saw it into the future, and he didn't even stay here for 23 hours. I'm talking about Bill Belichick. That dude saw this shit so far ahead. Now, 20 years later, can you blame him? Hell no. I actually applaud what he did because he would have never had 6 Super Bowls, 8 appearances with the Pats, with the Jets. He would have never, ever. He did what was right, and that's what Jamal's doing right now. As much as I hate it, I hate what Jamal's doing, but I can't blame him because blame has to be throughout all sides. Not for nothing, I wish Jamal would have said, you know what, this is completely unprecedented. Going into year 3 of a rookie deal, how dare I even look for like a blockbuster deal? But Joe Douglas, he continued that chord during the season. He said, hey, we'll talk about that after the season. That was a bullshit move from Joe Douglas. He could have said, exactly. He could have said, we'll talk about that in-house, and that's it. Dead it. But like if you're an employee and your employer says, Tyson, Tyrone, I know you want these demands, but we could talk about it, over the summer. So now your hopes are up in the summer, as opposed to let's talk about this in-house, or not even say anything. Keep doing your job or whatever. But the blame has to be across the board because I've been swaying on this. Like I have never turned against a player as fast as I did with Jamal. But then I step back like 3 steps and start thinking about the ineptitude of our ownership because it is inept.
Yep.
It's trash. You look at all these young players that we corroded. All these young players.
And that's the thing. It's like, and people say like, "Oh, dude, you're so negative, this and that." But like, no, history has taught us this. Even though Joe Douglas is new, the ownership's the same. There's questions about Joe Douglas or Adam Gase, the things he's done in the past. Like, there's so many things that there's kind of like concerns that they haven't been changed. Like, there's no proof that it's been changed. Like now, it's a true power struggle now. So who's going to win this power struggle? Is it going to be Joe Douglas? Is it an Adam Gase power play to get rid of a big personality in the locker room? Is ownership being cheap? We don't know what the hell it is. It's something, though. Something happened.
There's no guidance. There's something definitely happened, and the writing was already on the wall. Jamal wants no part of this. He sees that this organization hasn't won and will not win. That's what he's seeing. I hope it's not the case. But how can I argue with him? I can't. that's what he's doing. He wants to move on. But the thing is, like, he's trying to – one thing I don't like is that he's trying to bring players down as well. Like, the whole thing with May yesterday, I didn't like, hey, do you or whatever. Like, I just wish he laid off of Instagram, of just Twitter, just going in Gakwe's route, which is completely pathetic.
But don't you wonder, though, like, don't you wonder what this locker room really thinks about all this? I mean, Jamal seems to be a popular guy. When him and May are close, him and Le'Veon Bell are close. Don't you wonder what these guys are really thinking about this? Or they're like, you know what? I got one more year, I'm getting out of Dodge. Like, if Jamal doesn't believe in the vision of the team winning and they don't see the future, they could all be like, you know, well, Bell's probably going to be gone next year anyway. But Marcus Maye could be like, dude, I'm getting the hell out of here. Like, don't you wonder what the players are really thinking right now?
You know what? He's following the common denominator. Osemele did it. Quincy Enunwa, who's such a huge team player, did the same thing, like calling out the organization. Jamal's doing it. And this is a common theme with Gase, man. I hate to go round in circles again, but I think it's Gase, man.
But Gase,
it's horrible.
We know he's going to be out here next year. So I think that, you know,
we don't know that. We don't know that. Hold on. We don't know that.
I'll say this. But I'll say this, though. I mean, listen, as Jet fans, we have to hope he's out here. We have to hope that Joe Douglas has a plan in place. I mean, listen, I understand that Jamal is unhappy, and I understand that, you know, we're a shit show of an organization. But listen, what are we going to do? We're Jet fans, so we got to
but your plan can't be about hope.
Eventually it's going to end. I mean, but
I know, but
I'm not talking about their plan, our plan. As Jet fans, listen, it's Tuesday night, we're on the show talking about this, man. So, you know, as fans, we got to still believe that one day this is going to turn around. Now, I know losing Jamal is hard because I'm really frustrated about it as well. And I've never liked Gase at all. But, you know what I'm saying, I don't even know if I like Joe Douglas. But at the end of the day, and I know I hate the Johnsons, so that's what that is. But at the end of the day, as Jet fans, man, listen, we got to move forward because we're still going to watch this product.
Don't give me this Kool-Aid shit, man. Look, we don't have to believe in anything. I want to know what the direction is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
What is the plan? Like, if you're like, what is their plan? Like, what are we buying into if your plan includes alienating Jamal Adams and getting him out of here? Like, what's the plan? Like, even Kevin said it before. Like, what the hell? What are we doing here? Do we even have a blueprint?
This is the same team that, you know, that let a GM that you were going to fire your groceries. It makes no logical sense.
Yeah, but the difference is now is Joe Douglas was given the power to hire all the guys he wanted, the entire front office he wanted, and supposedly he has more say than McCagnon ever did. Supposedly, in terms of personnel stuff. That was whatever. Who knows what's true anymore? But you just said you just think you're assuming that Gase is going to be gone next year, and I agree with Dan. There's no assurance of that either.
I hope so.
Yeah, Tyrone, hold on a second. Tyrone, do you know that Tyrone, the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets, they run parallel with each other. You know, remember Hugh Jackson? That was my counter argument with you, stating that you know that next year that Gase is out of here. You remember that Hugh Jackson had a 1-15 or 0-16 squad, and he still came back the next year. Like, that gives me that frightening feeling that Gase, no matter what he does here, that nonsense of continuity, of losing, the structure of losing, that's continuity, which is bullshit. It should be, you know what, you suck. Now we're going to go with Jim Harbaugh. We'll call someone with a pedigree, someone that can turn this thing around.
Listen, but do you actually think that a good coach will want to come to a shit show of an organization? This is the whole point.
Well, that's where you open.
I'm hoping.
That's been the problem for years.
Absolutely. This has been our issue. We haven't had a good GM since Tannenbaum. This is why we suck. Because everybody at the Tannenbaum sucks.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Tyrone. But it's not even that. It's not even like I don't care about what happened before anybody. Right now, we have a new front office in place. They should have the power and wherewithal to have a blueprint, a plan, and to be able to carry it out. And now we're kind of questioning: do they have a blueprint, or is Gase too big of a factor here? And that's my question. Like, that's what we don't know. That could be the biggest issue now. Like, how long do we have? Like, how many years do we have to?
This is Joe Douglas' first off season, really, right?
Okay, so so in theory, what's going to happen is Adam Gase is going to be here 2 years, and within 2 years, he's going to get rid of Le'Veon Bell and Jamal Adams. That's going to be his two signature moves. Cool. Who do you bring in?
I'm hoping after this season that his ass is done. I mean, I feel you. Because to me, losing Le'Veon is going to send us way back. Losing Jamal, listen, this is what everyone. I'm not defending them, and I'm not.
But here's the question though. But does Joe Douglas? I mean, I'll ask Dan. Dan, if do you think Joe Douglas has the power? If Adam Gase is trying to pull a power play to say, hey, listen, man, back off. This is ridiculous. He's one of our best players. Or does he let Adam Gase do it? Like, how much power does Joe Douglas have? Can he say, cut the shit? We're keeping this guy?
Gase has the power. It took me a while to realize that. It took me a while because Gase is one of those individuals that he'll go into Joe Douglas's office and say, I got you this job. Yep, I got you. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be here.
Completely agree.
Yeah, no. Tyrone, it took me a while. I thought it was complete opposite. I said, this guy is a complete. I did think about it. I thought about it. It sucks. And Tyrone,
Tyrone's taking a beating.
Tyrone, alluding to what you were saying before, Tyrone, about the hope and everything. The minute the kickoff is kicked on week 1, every Jet fan, 100%, the hope is there that we're winning every single game, that we're going through the playoffs, and we're winning the Super Bowl. The hope is there. But then the reality sets in, like week 1 last year. Like the week 1 last year, which was nonsense, that we had the game in the bag, but there was something in the back of everyone's mind at the end of the third quarter when Mosley went down. We said, something is going to happen. And we've been through this shit show before, this damn reel, and we watch this and we sit down and we watch the same Married with Children episode over and over, knowing that there are other episodes to delve into, but we sit down and we watch the shoe guy, and it's all the same thing over and over. But we're there. No matter what, we're always there because, again, looking at it the positive side, I actually like what Joe Douglas did this offseason. I actually enjoyed it. He went full throttle on the offensive line. I enjoyed it. He got the draft. I think he knocked it out of the park. I actually liked it. I didn't like that he let Robbie go for an extra, $2 million or $3 million that he should have dished out. That one I didn't get, but, I mean, it is what it is. I enjoy that he got these one-year deals back, continuity again, quote-unquote, with Jordan Jenkins and whatnot. And he set himself up for the 2021 campaign with the free agency money cap opening. I enjoyed that. I got to give him credit. What I don't give him credit is how he botched the whole Jamal Adams thing, speaking too prematurely.
Listen, absolutely. Man, I'm not.
Hello? Oh, no. Oh, I lost you. Boo. Oh, man.
Yo, can you hear me, fellas? What's going on?